Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 997. Woo! We're at the weekend. We're a few episodes away from our big extravaganza. The 1000th episode coming up Tuesday. We're going to do 2 episodes for episode 1000. We'll go at our regularly scheduled time at 7 a.m. Central. And again, we'll go in the prime time, 7 p.m. slot Tuesday night for Hobby Evolution episode 1000. Today is 997. Tomorrow is 998. Monday is 999. Tuesday, October 10th, we hit the 1000th episode. I remember talking about it. Remember, we were always like, when's episode 1000 going to be? And initially it was like going to be in September. Should have been in September, but I had to take so many days away during the move, especially in July. I was gone for a few days for a wedding. Was gone for 5 days at the National, a couple card shows. So, and then just other days I couldn't do it during the moving process. So had to push it into October. But I remember talking like several months ago, like when? Well, it's going to be, maybe take a day or two off for moving. That was a pipe dream. Took a few more than that off. We'll be in September. I'll be episode 1000. We'll be in the new house. It'll be in the new setup. And now here we are. It's a little surreal. But here we are. It's Saturday. It's the weekend. I don't have anything really to talk about. So we're just going to kind of go by what the chat rolls with this morning. Listing and shipping and listing. That's what I did yesterday. I did take a little break in the evening, early evening. I took a little nap. I took a little late afternoon nap. I turned on some random movie and it put me to sleep. It was like a quick nap. It was like a 30-minute nap though. I listed 200 or 300 cards. I listed some Allen and Ginter Chrome. And there's some refractors in there. I listed some football. I listed those quarterback legends, which it got more and more humorous. Remember yesterday? Remember 24 hours ago when we did some name that player, and it's like quarterback legends. So this is a quarterback legend set that I don't know what company put these out. It's just NFL. It looks like Pro Set, but it's not Pro Set. So this is Kenny Anderson, went to Augustana College, Rock Island, Illinois. Like Ken Anderson, he was a really good quarterback. I could see that. Terry Bradshaw, he's a legend. But then there's guys like, okay, these guys can get by with it. Then there's guys like Lynn Dickey. I don't really consider Lynn Dickey a quarterback legend. Or Vince Ferragamo. I don't really consider Vince Ferragamo a quarterback legend. This is a cool picture. Now, Dan Fouts, legend. This picture, legendary. Look, he's got a broken nose. He's got blood all over his jersey, blood on his pants. What a frickin', that's football. That's 80s football. Dan Fouts. Look at the blood. Look at the blood on this guy. Who is this guy? Roman Gabriel. This is like Roman Gabriel in his end of his years. Look at the blood on his pants. That's football. Who else do we got here? So we've got legends in here. Bob Greasy, legend. Steve Grogan, not legendary. John Haddle, James Harris. I'm not considering James Harris a quarterback legend. Jim Hart, yeah. Jaws, Ron Jaworski, sure. Charlie Johnson, who? This is like the most random hodgepodge of NFL quarterbacks ever created. Burt Jones, not legendary. This is a pretty fun picture. Bill Kilmer, looks like he's running for his life. Look at the look on his face. Bill Kilmer, not legendary, but he's in the set. Who else? Neil Lomax, not legendary. Gifford, this is one, I had to tweet this. I've never even heard of Gifford Nielsen. Gifford Nielsen, Houston Oilers. He only played 6 years. Gifford Nielsen. Why is he in quarterback legend set? Gifford Nielsen's prolific college career at Brigham Young was cut short by injury 4 games into his senior season, and injuries similarly kept him from fulfilling his potential in the NFL. So they even admit, not legendary. Still, he did show flashes of brilliance with the Houston Oilers, such as in the 1979 AFC Divisional Playoff game when he replaced an injured Dan Pastorini. Wasn't even the starting quarterback, but we're going to put him in the legend set. And led the underdog Oilers to a victory over the Chargers. Against Pittsburgh in 1981, he passed for 377 yards and 4 touchdowns. Wow, that's a legendary game. And there's Dan Pastorini. So NFL quarterback legends. I've actually sold I listed some of these. I listed the set yesterday, and I actually sold a couple out of that set. Gifford Nielsen has not sold yet. Surprise. Link to my eBay store, scrolling at the screen, description also in the description. So I listed some football, some baseball. What I do last night, I came downstairs after dinner and I just I was watching my high school football alma mater, Anawan Wethersfield. They're 6-1 now. Or wait, no, 6-1. Yeah, that was week 7. 6-1. 6-1. They are 6-1. They beat the Farmington Farmers last night. And it was, I think, 33-15. Farmington was undefeated going into last night's game. I think Anawan Wethersfield plays Rova. Now, Rova is an interesting, for those not familiar with small town Illinois high schools, Rova is a very interesting, you think, Rova, that's the town name. No. It's actually 4 towns that creates the word Rova. What do you call that? There's a name for it. I'm not an English teacher. What do you call that? So it spells out. The 5 towns are Rio, Oneida, Watauga, Victoria, and Altona, which spells out ROWVA, Rova. I think they're also 6-1. So that'll be a good matchup next Friday. And I think that is in Rova High School is in Oneida. The O, right smack dab in the middle of the ROWVA, Rova. So go Anawan Wethersfield. So they're 6-1. They're ranked, I think, number 9 in the state in Class 1A rankings. So in playoffs, just a couple weeks away, high school football. So that's what I did last night. Watched some high school football. Where are we at in the chat? What's going on, chat? Todd Richardson, good morning. Happy Saturday. Red Light 34 is in the house. Good morning. He says, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, spend your money on my cards. Terry McDaniel, what's happening? Good morning. George is in the house. Good evening to George. Dave, my buddy Arn Dogs on the Spoon River Drive. Last year, bought some Bulls, 88 Bulls starting lineups for $5 each. Dave loves the starting lineups. Very cool. Now, Arnie has a pretty cool Spoon River Drive story about, was it 80-81 Tops basketball? Spoon River Drive, if you're not familiar, it's literally, you drive around the Spoon River Valley, Fulton County. So the popular stops, you've got London Mills. What else is popular? So whenever I did the Spoon River, only went a couple times. One of my favorite Spoon River Drive stories. I think I had just begun dating a girl. And so it was like the parents meet, right? So my parents come down, her mom and aunt, and friends of ours, and my buddy Sean, I think his mom and stepdad also came. So we like caravanned, and so we went to, I think we made a stop in Avon. I don't think there's much going on in Avon during the Spoon River Drive, but we stopped in Avon briefly, and then London Mills was our destination. So my dad's more impatient than what I am. My dad was super impatient. And so he also, and this is where I don't like rigid schedules. Like, just let me be me. Like, when I go to spring training, and I do spring training on my own, I don't want these itineraries. Like, I just want to do my own thing. If I feel like going out to dinner, I'll meet you at dinner. But if you want me to make a reservation, no, count me out. I'll just go to Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't like rigid itineraries. I get that from my dad. And so we get to London Mills, and he's just like cursing because he wants to do his own thing. He doesn't want to go with this big group, and they're like, let's go here, blah, 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 blah. So we're in London Mills, which, by the way, London Mills, famous for its like gigantic tenderloins. I think the place is called Spoonies, play off the Spoon River. And so we're in London Mills. We're all of a sudden, Dad's missing. Where'd Dad go? Well, there's one or two bars. London Mills is like 600 people population, maybe. No stoplights. And so, well, let's go check the bar. There's Dad having a Busch Light at the bar, probably smoking a cigarette, because I think this was before that. Actually, in London Mills, you could probably get away with smoking in the bar. So that's London Mills. I think I did one other Spoon River Drive. I didn't really do the Spoon River Drive. Not really my thing, although you would think it would be. I like garage. I don't go to garage sales, though. I like them. I just don't go. I don't think I found anything. I do remember my mom found, and my dad would always just, that was my dad's famous when he was annoyed. My mom got this like beat up luggage. My dad's like, what are you going to do with this? And my mom always wants to like fix things up, and bought beat up old 50s luggage for like decoration. Spoon River Drive. So Arnie, have fun. Enjoy the Spoon River. What else is famous around the Spoon River Drive? You've got London Mills is the big one. Lewistown, is there stuff going on in Lewistown? Canton? Bernadotte. I think Bernadotte's got some stuff going on. What other towns are in there? Cuba? Anything going on in Cuba? How about Rico's? Anything going on at Rico's Marietta Tap? Victor's in the house. What's up, Victor? Great college football day. We've got Rutgers in town here in Madison. Rutgers and the Badgers playing today. I saw where was I driving? Probably to the Post. Where the hell was I going yesterday? Why was I in that area? Why was I over there? See, I can't remember things. I can remember trivial bullshit, but I can't remember why I was driving by the Rutgers semi yesterday. Was it yesterday? Had to have been yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. Why was I over there? Unless I just took the back way. Did I take the back way? Or was it Thursday night? It was Thursday night. Because I bet the Rutgers semi was in town Thursday. Because otherwise I didn't go that way yesterday. I would have went because I was going to downtown Middleton. So I would have went that way. Anyway, Thursday night, Rutgers semi's in town. And I'm thinking, because it's equipment. So they fly, Big Ten teams are going to charter flights to fly around to games. And but the equipment is going to be bust. Now, that's in the Big Ten. If you're Western Illinois University, you pack all that shit on the plane with you. So it's like, can you imagine that drive from New Jersey? What's that drive got to be? New Jersey to Madison, Wisconsin. I do know it's 10 hours to Pittsburgh. It's a 10-hour drive from Madison to Pittsburgh. So Madison to, where's Rutgers? Parsippany? Fun word to say. Where's Rutgers University? I think it's in Parsippany, New Jersey. So that's got to be, what's Parsippany to Pittsburgh? It's got to be what, 5 hours? 6? Talking 15, 16-hour drive. I mean, it's in a semi, so you've got a guy with a CDL driving. So that's what, it's not like one of us driving around. But just imagine. So that's the Big Ten footprint, driving the semi with equipment from New Jersey to Wisconsin, hell, to Nebraska. That's the furthest west right now until the West Coasters come in. So are they going to drive a semi from New Jersey to California with that equipment? I would think you would just fly it. I don't know. We had so we would pack when I worked at Western Illinois, who still hasn't won a game. They're gonna go like 1,000 days without winning a football game at Western Illinois University. I think the count's at like 600 or 700, and they're not gonna win a game this year. So it's gonna be next year. So you're gonna add another 300 days to the count. So when I was traveling with the team, we would only fly to, it had to be like I think it was at 7 hours for football. Football got more privileges than the other sports. Football also made a lot more money than the other sports. Football paid for the other sports. So in football, I think it was 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours. If it was anything under that, by bus, if it was under 6 hours, you would bus. If it was over 6 hours, it was a flight. So, and they tried to keep it to within the budget 2 flights a year, because they were charter flights for football. We flew commercial on basketball trips. So one of our trips, Youngstown State was in our conference, Missouri Valley Football Conference. So that was a flight to Youngstown, Ohio. And that was like the flight from hell. I've shared the story where all of a sudden the flight attendants are like panicking. Flight attendants are supposed to be calm under pressure. Like the entire plane, the entire travel party was more calm than the flight attendants. They were freaking the frick out. And so that's not good. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die in a plane crash. And I'm thinking, like, I'm literally, like, we're on this plane. It's going down, dropping in altitude. There's like no pressure in the cabin. We had like sub sandwiches. You have like from Subway, you get like the sandwich, the cookie, the potato chip bag. So there was a bag, one of those small bags of Frito-Lays on the chair next to me, exploded because of the pressure in the cabin. Ears are popping. Dude in front of me is like screaming in pain because his like eardrums exploded or something. I don't know. It was insane. Masks come down. So like this is a flight. This is not a test. This is like a fucking flight I'm on. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm like breathing through the mask. They come on. They're gonna divert us. Because they didn't think the plane could make it to Youngstown. Let's hope it can make it to an airport and land safely. Fortunately, whatever happened, we were able to get it to Youngstown. We were able to land. It was a very rough landing. And we landed. So the equipment guys were like, one of the equipment guys, he was like freaking out. And he's like, I'm driving back. And he's like, I'm calling somebody from the university. We're renting a van. We're driving. I think he calmed down. And we had to wait for like, they had to put that plane out of commission, obviously. Not getting on that damn plane. So they had to fly in a new plane to fly us back after we got beat by Youngstown State. So that was quite the ordeal. Like I literally, like I'm literally thinking like the freaking potato chips exploding, my eardrums, ears are popping like crazy, way more than normal loss in altitude or whatever when you're flying. And I'm thinking Marshall, the Marshall football team, the was it Evansville basketball team, like those plane crashes, like that's what I'm thinking. Like we're going to be front page news tomorrow. The Western Illinois University football team crashed somewhere in Indiana. But fortunately that didn't happen. But I also, like 2 weeks before, we played UNLV out in Vegas, and me and my color commentator hit up Fremont Street, and we did a palm reading. And the lady said I was gonna, my lifeline was long, and so I was thinking like all of these things are flashing through my head in what seemed like eternity. It was probably, I don't know, 10 minutes that this all took place, maybe more. But I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. This is Marshall Thundering Herd football all over again. We're gonna be on the front page because the entire travel party was killed in a plane crash over Indiana. Then I'm like, wait, I had that palm reading in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and she said I was gonna live a long life. I'm only 30 something at that point. I'm not gonna die because the palm reader in Vegas said I was gonna live until I was in my 70s or 80s. So I'm good. So that's my college football flight story. There you go. Arnie's on the Spoon River Drive. Picked up 5 bulk boxes yesterday. Very nice. Love me some bulk. Congrats on 1K. Big day of sports down here in Georgia. Braves and Phillies. Georgia, Kentucky. Can't wait. Very cool. Braves and Phillies. Playoff baseball. I'm rooting for the Braves. Rooting for the Braves. Georgia, Kentucky. Sage's Sports World, what's going on? Good morning. George says he played a game of football, then went out to the parking lot and changed a tire while knocking back a Schlitz and smoking a Pall Mall. That's right. Those legendary quarterbacks. Kyle Katz, what's up? Good morning. Shane's in the house. Good morning. Got lost in listing. I forgot to check back to see if you were live. I hit it right at like 8:30 this morning, right at 8:30. I always say approximately 8:30 on the weekend, sometimes sooner, sometimes later. Cooter, good morning. He's on I-35 again this Saturday, heading to Galveston for the week. Go Sooners, beat Texas. Dave, what's going on? Does CDP have a spot where you can list hockey as just bought a collection of vintage and there were hockey in it? You can list hockey. I don't think Car Dealer Pro will identify it. So right now it's baseball, football, basketball. I don't know if maybe somebody else in here can answer it. I don't list hockey. So I don't think they can identify. I don't think their database has hockey in it for the AI. You can certainly list it, but you're just going to have to do it manually through Car Dealer Pro. I mean, I do wrestling. I do The Simpsons. I did through Car Dealer Pro. Now it didn't identify it, but I used their spreadsheet. I used their, template. And I just manually typed everything in, which if you're doing one set, it's easy. You just basically the only thing you're doing is adjusting for title and player name and card number. That's it. If the prices are the same, I just have a generic description. Bing Scott's in the house. Good morning. You were talking about the Peoria show the other day. I live 35 minutes from Peoria. I haven't heard or seen any promotion for that show anywhere. They're big on social media. I know they're promoting it heavily on Instagram and Facebook. So I guess if you're not on those. And so this is interesting. So Bing, I hope you're still here. I'm a little late on finding this comment, but this is actually going to be educational for me as a card show promoter, because I pretty much do the only thing that the Peoria show is doing. I promote it on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So I'm curious, if you're not seeing any promotion for that Peoria show, where would you see it? Are you going to the Beckett Card Show calendar? Are you going to Sports Collector Daily? where would you find promotional? Where would you find it? Like if you were like, what's your behavior for doing that? Are you listening to the radio? Are you reading the newspaper? Because I only do Facebook advertising. And then, of course, I tweet it and I have an Instagram. That's all I do for the Madison Card Show. Of course, it's on the Card Show calendars, which I think is the most basic thing. If you're looking for card shows, go to the card show. You got cardshowmap.com. You got Beckett, Sports Collectors Daily, all that stuff. So I am curious, for people that say, I didn't see anything about this card show, I'm curious, where would you see it? Where would you see it? Because that can help card show promoters like me. Okay, I know this guy's in the hobby, but he's not on Facebook or Instagram. Where would he see it if I were to push? And then it's also like, well, that's also where most of the people are that go to card shows. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're on social media platforms. And if you do, like if you advertise in the Peoria Journal-Star, like, is that going to this guy might read it, but a lot of people that you want target marketing, right? So when I'm advertising on Facebook, it's not just going to just anybody and everybody. Sometimes by my mistake, it does. And I'm like, oh shit. I had somebody reach out. Hey, I just got your Facebook ad in Colorado. I'm like, that shouldn't be. So I go in, oh shit. It reverted back to nationwide and not just this specific area. So I'm not promoting my Madison Card Show in Dallas, Texas. Now, sometimes I do on purpose. During the National last year, I did Facebook advertising for Atlantic City, New Jersey, because that's where the National was. And where's everybody in the hobby at during that 5-day period? They're in Atlantic City or wherever the National is. Boom, target that market. So I did that for a couple days. And, you're targeting people who like baseball cards, Topps, Upper Deck, local sports teams. Because sometimes if you do, like, I'll get a lot of, people, it's going to hit people when I put in Wisconsin Badgers, it's going to hit a lot of people that they like Wisconsin Badgers on Facebook, but they're not interested in card shows. So you got to be careful on how broad you get. If you start typing in Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans, Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts, and all of these sports teams, you're going to broaden. But even though you're in this geographic region, it's hitting people that just like, oh yeah, I watch like one game a year. So it's definitely target marketing. Dave saw Dan Pastorini race his quarterback sneak drag race cart, Cordova. Oh, the Cordova Dragway. The old Cordova, I think that's closed now. Cordova Dragway. Farmington, a good stop. Yes. I'm talking about Farmington getting beat last night in football. Of course, Farmington's a good stop on the Spoon River Drive. You got London Mills, you got Farmington. Lewistown's probably good. Did we go into Farmington when I was, or it might have been, we might have hit Canton. Because I remember doing London Mills. We went up through Avon, over to London Mills, and then we cut like back through the country. We went south of London Mills, and I think there's like a apple cider farm or something south of London Mills that I remember hitting up. And then, Smithfield. We stopped in Smithfield, I think, on the way back. Smithfield, and maybe we didn't go all the way to Canton or Farmington. We just went south of London Mills, cut over to Smithfield, and then we did hit Rico's Marietta Tap on the way back. I was so young, and now I remember. I do know we didn't stop at Rico's that first time because I was really because my girlfriend wasn't even 21 at the time. And so I would have been like maybe 22 or 3. So we didn't stop at Rico's because of that first trip. So I remember going by and we were going to stop. It's like, oh, well, I mean, she would have been able to get it. Freaking Rico's, right? Herman's in the house. What's up, Herman? Another Georgia Bulldog is here and Braves fan. I'll be set up in Peoria. I know it's on the card show map. There you go. Arn Dog's going to be the big show. Are you going to be there next weekend? Or is it next? No, it's 2 weeks away. The big show in Peoria. So yeah, I am curious. Where'd Bink go? I am curious. Like, where would you find if you're not seeing it, where would you see it? Because that show's doing pretty much everything I'm doing promotion-wise, as far as I know. Talking Tati says 4 playoff games today. Sad my team isn't in it, but I love baseball, and playoff baseball is what's what. I don't know what my plan for today is. It's a beautiful fall. And I was thinking this morning about college football, going back to college football. Rutgers is in town, and I'm not like I'm like, I'm going to tailgate. I'm going to go to one game I haven't tailgated at a Badger, and there's nothing like. Now, I know you guys in the SEC, I'm sure it's a lot different down in the SEC, but man, Big Ten tailgates are so much fun. And I haven't been in several years. Pre-COVID, we would go to like one game, and I'm just not a fan of going to the actual game. I'm the guy that shows up a couple minutes into the second quarter and leaves after a jump around at the end of the third quarter. I'm on Regent Street tailgating. It's like, do we have to go to the game? I'm having fun here. I just like day drinking. A little chilly today. I'd like it to be a little warmer to do tailgating. But my buddy texted me this week, and he's like, hey, what are you doing next weekend? We're coming up for the Wisconsin-Iowa. His wife went to Iowa. We're coming up for the Badger game against Iowa. And I'm like, oh, I've got a wedding. I mean, I'll have fun at the wedding. It's like, oh, that would have been my opportunity to go tailgate. There's no Regent Street. Go down to the Union afterwards. Hit up State Street. My parents came up. Might have been the first. I think had to have been the first year. Because the second year, my wife and I were already dating. Although my wife might have been with us. It was either first or second year I lived here. First year, the very first game was Badgers against my alma mater, Western Illinois. And so I think it was that year. My parents came up like later, for another game, and we went down. We hit up State Street. We didn't go to the game, but we just went downtown, and we were on State Street, just watching people, watching, drinking beer and people watching. Let's see. Talking Tati says, oh, good morning, by the way. Dark roast and super runts Saturday. What the hell is super runts? Sounds intriguing. Medium roast here. Back on the Dunkin' coffee from Costco. Get the giant. That way I won't run out of coffee for a while. Because usually I get I'll just run to Pick and Save, and I'll get the small bag of Door County or whatever. They changed their packaging. That's why I couldn't find it. They changed their package on Door County coffee. So the Costco coffee, that'll last me a while. Where we at? Phillies cards flying out of the store. Phillies fans are big card collectors, and their ballpark is electric. I wouldn't want to play them right now. So this week, I haven't sold many Phillies cards, but I had a big run on Dodger sales this week. Orioles have been all year. I've had multiple Orioles collectors buy cards out of my store. So hopefully that continues. What did I made some sales overnight, some volume sales overnight. Let's see. Oh, some random, some Topps total cards sold. I've been thinking all week, it's like, man, I'm just not moving the low end, commons, right? And I mean, I've always preached listings, you can have 100,000 listings, but if you're not selling anything, what are you doing? And so sometimes I get stuck in the number, I want more listings, because if I have more listings, I'll make more sales. And that's not the case. But, and it seemed more and more man, I'm just not moving 81 Topps, 81 Donruss, some of that where it's really easy to list, but it's also, they're not selling. But I did make a bunch of sales. I made some volume. And this is why I like having a lot volume like that, because This buyer came in, bought an 81 Topps traded Rick Bosetti in 82. So he was buying Rick Bosetti. This is probably a TTMer. A couple of Rick Bosetti cards, a Steve Comer, 82 Donruss, an 82 Donruss Stan Pappy, a 79 Topps Steve Comer, an 82 Fleer Jr. Kennedy. So some of that stuff. Oh, I did make a bunch of Philly sales. I did yesterday. Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, but like retired guys, not current guys. Oh, I had a Marlins volume sale. Jeff Conine and Pudge Rodriguez Marlins cards. So yesterday was an interesting day. I sold a lot of, lately it's been a lot of the Jackson Holiday, Churio, prospects, Otanis, Trouts, Acuñas, that type of stuff, which obviously is much better to list than 82 Donruss Steve Comer. But it's nice to get those Steve Comer sales when it's like, hey, that's like free money. We've got Grinding for Good in the house. Good morning to you. I don't have anything else to talk about, so we've run to the end of the chat. I don't need to drag it on for an hour because I can get to listing and shipping and listing. Hit up my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price. You'll save 25% at checkout. I do plan on listing, I think I'm going to be listing some Allen and Ginter, some 2022 Ginter singles today. I found those. I went through some random boxes last night from the latest Goodwill palette. I'm pretty much done with going through this palette. Most of it now is junk wax. It was kind of a dud palette. Although there was a lot of quarter stuff. I moved a lot of quarter cards at the last Madison card show. So it was, in that vein, it was good. And I found some other stuff. There might be one other box that has some decent stuff that I haven't looked at yet. Let's see. Cooter says, my brother was the first person to recognize Rick Bosetti outside the stadium in Oklahoma City, so he gave us free tickets to the game and introduced us to his parents. How cool is that? Rick Bosetti. How cool is that? That's freaking cool. Talking Tatis says, ship happens. Happy Saturday. Yes, sir. So I'm going to list and ship and list. Hobby Hotline's coming up at 10. So I think I'm going to watch some college game day, list some Allen and Ginter, and then I'll go to the other room and do some shipping while Hobby Hotline's on. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back on live tomorrow morning, probably same-ish time, around 8:30 a.m. Central. Before we go, Tom wants to know, is anyone going to Oak Creek today? Oak Creek, Wisconsin, Salvation Army, big show over there. There's a lot of options for card shows here in the Midwest this weekend. You've got Oak Creek over in Milwaukee. Stevens Point has a decent card show going on today. There's multiple day shows. Schaumburg has a big show, a lot of autographs there. It's more of an autograph show than a card show, but there is, I think, 150 tables, 200 tables there. And then Des Moines, if you're in Iowa, the Capital City Convention is going on this weekend. That's always a great show. I've never been there personally, but from everything I've heard, it's a great show. So Shane says, go Braves, and please, Purdue, help out us Hawks fans and hold us under 25 points today. There you go. So, hey, have a great day. Enjoy the card shows if you're out and about at card shows or the Spoon River Drive this weekend. Like, subscribe, visit my eBay store. See you tomorrow.